jingle.
Hola, hola. Welcome back to Locatora Radio.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Mala Munoz.
And this is Diosa Fem.
And we are Las Locatoras, coming to you once again from Espacio 1839 on First Street in Boyle Heights. Thank you for joining us.
Locatora Radio is a podcast archiving the brilliance and legacies of women and femmes of color.
And today we have a beautiful, beautiful guest here with us.
Yes, we do. Say hey, girl.
Hey.
How are you doing? Happy birthday, by the way.
Good. Thank you. Glowing up at 23, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
23 is a good age.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hot mess of a year for me. I did not know about y'all. But I'm super excited that Amy is here with us, Amy Quichiz.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a quick introduction. Amy was born in New York, and she's visiting. She's the daughter of a Colombian mother and Peruvian father. In 2017, she graduated from Syracuse University with a bachelor's degree in women's and gender studies and has since been working at Planned Parenthood as an adult sexuality educator.
Thank you so much for that intro.
You have been doing a lot.
Yes, I have. And it's been great.
I like that bio. That's a good bio.
Yes.
Thanks. Sounds professional.
It is professional.
You are doing the damn thing, girl.
So we're here.
And you're here from out of town. You're here visiting.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
why are you here visiting aside from birthday festivities?
Yeah, so actually I'm here for Joanna's event. She's going to have the Unapologetically Brown Series event with y'all today. And I'm also here to celebrate my birthday because I'm a bad bitch and I deserve to be deserved. Celebrated all the time.
Yes.
So we went to Disneyland and it was so much fun. It was such a blast.
Was that your first time at Disneyland?
Yes, it was my first time. And they gave me like a really cute button that said, this is my first time and my birthday. So everybody was like, wow, we have so much to celebrate. And I was like, yeah, think. Do you know who I am?
I love it. I mean, that's a staple. Like, if you come to the West Coast, you know, not everybody makes it out to Anaheim because
it's really far. Yeah, but they say that the Disneyland culture here is so ingrained and like everyone loves Disney. So I was really excited to see that. And everyone having like annual passes and all of that. I'm like, that's crazy. People in Miami don't even understand.
It's a thing. It's a real thing. Sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the annual passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, people go just like, once you have an annual pass, you go just to like eat, like for like 2 hours or something.
Yeah, and people getting bamboozled out here buying $10 caramel popcorn. And I'm like, no, no thanks.
But on some level, people, they know they're being bamboozled.
Yeah.
They want to be bamboozled.
Yeah, that's why you go. You know you're going to pay $5 for a water.
It's
you
true.
know?
It's true. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, we have a lot to cover today.
We do.
We've been doing a lot. We've been busy. We've been all over the place. Like, Las Locatoras are really out here running around.
Yes.
I know. I see y'all. I admire y'all so much.
Oh, thank you, love. Thank you.
And I mean, just to recap.
Yeah, let's do a quick recap of Viva la Mujer, which was on the 10th, the 11th?
The 10th.
The Saturday, March 10th. And it was pouring, raining.
Yes.
But we were still out there, and the turnout was so phenomenal. There were so many people.
It was packed.
It was packed. I was really nervous, honestly, because of the rain.
It was a downpour. Like, it was not a drizzle. It was really raining.
Right.
And, you know, we don't really know how to handle that in LA.
People, once it starts raining, everything shuts down.
I know.
Nobody comes out. Nobody. No.
Literally one single teardrop in Disneyland, and everyone already had the ponchos. And I'm like, y'all are insane.
We do not know how to handle the rain. We don't. We're not equipped for it. We don't have the shoes. I was wearing open-toe shoes.
The whole time.
On Saturday. And I was so sure Sunday morning I was going to wake up sick. Like, no voice.
Right.
Con fiebre y todo. But no, I mean, I'm still here.
Yeah. But, and the other thing is, because we were running around back and forth, because we had our table.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the table.
Yeah, we had our table. We were conducting interviews.
Yes.
With attendees, talking about what is a boss lady. I was going to say, what is a boss bitch? But it was family friendly.
In other words. Now, on the podcast, we can say, what is a boss bitch?
Right. At the event, though, with the youth and stuff, it was, what does a boss lady mean to you? Right. And what does Viva la Mujer mean to you as an event, as a concept? We heard from all kinds of people, young people, older people, men, women, queer, trans,
What did
everybody.
they say?
There was a big variety of responses. You know, some people shouted out like, "Oh, a boss lady is my mom,
right?
My teacher."
What we did was we tailored the question when like men would come to the table, and we would be like, "Who's the boss lady in your life?"
Right.
So these men would talk about their moms, their partners, just powerful women in general.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of giving them the space to like pay homage to the women in their lives in that moment.
Mm.
And then for everyone else, it was for the women that were there was, what does Velum mean to you, or what does the boss lady mean to you?
Yeah.
There were some great responses. Can't give too much because we do have a video coming.
Check the YouTube.
Yes.
It's going to be on the YouTube.
You'll be able to see all the responses. They were super fantastic.
And in addition to our table, we also were our FemCs.
Yes.
Once again.
We were FemCs for a portion of the evening, and we were on the main stage, and we introduced the acts that were on the main stage.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of these groups are like local groups from LA. We introduced Earth Arrow, Intiwawa, Amindi K. Frost, Madame Gandhi, and they were all bombed. They killed it again in the rain.
In the rain.
In the freezing cold.
And people were out there dancing in the rain. Like,
it was cute.
That's so really cute.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our love, Jessica, she did a reading as well.
She packed that auditorium, per usual.
That's what she does.
Yeah, she does that.
That's what she does. And I think we also want to shout out some of the photographers.
Yes. Okay, so if you follow us on Instagram, you know which photos we're talking about.
You've seen them.
So we want to shout out Alba Hernandez, who is a mentor for Las Fotos Project, and she submitted a photo of me and Mala of Las Locadoras as boss ladies. Which is actually a photo shoot that we did here at Espacio.
Which y'all killed.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. And she had it framed, and she had it on display in the art room and art gallery at Plaza de la Raza. So it was super dope to see our print,
so
just
beautiful
there in the gallery.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
And then also our girl over at Mi Vida, Shop Mi Vida, Adriana, who's done photos for us before. She actually designed our logo. She also had a photograph displayed, and it's actually of my hands. Specifically of my hands. Yes. And it's super beautiful, and I posted it on my personal Instagram. Give her a follow at Adriana in LA, Adrina, and so you can keep up with her photography.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also Alba is at She Glow Up.
And there were so many talented photographers there. And just overall general, shout out to Las Fotos Project.
Shout out. This is their yearly, their annual fundraiser.
Yeah.
Everything that they do is 100% free. They're a nonprofit. And if you don't know about Las Fotos, you want to know, they teach, mentor young girls of color to develop their own portfolios, develop their own photos, whether that be in film or digital.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and they do workshops for them. They collab with other orgs here in LA. So they're doing some badass work.
That's amazing.
They're bomb. Yeah. They're amazing. We love them. And this was what, the fifth annual?
I believe this was the fourth. Yeah.
And it's getting bigger and bigger every year. So
I predict that next year it's going to be at an even bigger space.
I think so.
Yeah.
We love Plaza de la Raza, but the event is outgrowing the space, which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing, yeah.
Always.
Yes, because you never know when you go to a new venue, like who else it's gonna reach.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
That's true.
Alrighty. So, should we get into our segment?
Yes! Let's get into our segment. All right. Our favorite. Come here. You know what time it is. It's question time.
Yes. So thank you to everyone that has submitted new questions at our Curious Cat Me for our Oye Locas segment, where we answer all your questions.
Yeah. What's our first question,
so
Diosa?
Our first question is, why did you start the podcast, and does it pay well?
I love that. I love that question.
Before we get into it, I actually want to say that when I was looking at the questions, I feel like there's a lot of repeat questions, so I think they're from new listeners. So I want to link everyone back to our Capitulo 20, which is La Novela de Diosa y Mala, where we actually answered 20 questions about like who we are, our backgrounds, our zodiac signs.
Right. The important stuff.
The importance of all those things. So if you want to know more, tune into that capítulo. But yeah, so why did we start the podcast?
Well, we've talked about before, it was Diosa's idea.
Right.
She hit me up. She texted me. We had been following each other online.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we met up at this meetup that was organized by Chingona Fire and Latina Rebels. What year was it now?
2016.
2016, which I can't believe it's been 2 years, honestly.
That's crazy.
So we meet up in real life for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
We become friends. The Mami Collective is born.
Right.
We're going out. We're partying. And then Diosa's like, hey, do you want to start a podcast? And I'm, yes, I do. And that's how the podcast was.
Right.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
No, and everything happens online. It's crazy. Right.
Oh, there's a from Las Fotos.
Hi. She's so cute.
A young girl.
Hello. From Viva la Mujer.
Button on.
I almost want to ask her to come in here to just say hi, to introduce herself.
It might get a little...
That's true.
Yeah. Let's stay on task.
Let's bring everybody in, extra guests.
I would love to do that when we see people, but yeah.
Right. How cute.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, I'm like squirrel, so distracted. Yeah. So, I mean, I think in general, like, we started the podcast because there's so many great podcasts out there. At the same time, you know, now I think there's definitely more, but when we started, there weren't many femme-centered, survivor-centered podcasts, and any like deconstructing like what loca is, and that is in our name, locatora, you know. So that is why we started the podcast, to give our voices the space, and the women in our community, the women in femmes that don't get that space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And does it pay well, Mala?
It does not pay. We do not get paid to record. I mean, this is like Espacio 1839. Shop Mi Vida are the two spots that are like local shops, community spaces, and they have given us the space to start and record our first episodes. And like Espacio, this is a neighborhood, you know, radio station.
Right.
And so they don't charge us to record here.
Oh, wow.
Which is, we're very lucky to have this resource, because regular studios, like, you know, it's expensive.
Right.
So we're able to record for free, which is a big deal. Our mics, our equipment and stuff, you know, our merchandise, we have purchased either with our own money or, you know, honorariums from speaking engagements or workshops. So like when we go out and do any type of a gig, all those funds come right back into the podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To keep it running, to pay for things. Like we just got like our mic and our, what's it called? That thing that the camera's on top of?
Oh, the tripod.
The tripod.
We got a bunch of new equipment. We even have like a little crate, like a little rolling crate.
So cute.
We're little like femme techies, you know?
So cute.
With the
I listened to that podcast.
Yes.
So I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
And then also, you know, we have patrons that give monthly donations. And we actually haven't updated our incentives because we just honestly were not able to keep up with what we thought we could do.
It's a lot.
Right. So now we have new updates. So for our first tier, we have digital love notes. So those will be sent out to our patrons. And then the second tier is the digital love notes, and then also a digital diary. So it'll be like an exclusive,
That's so
exclusive, like behind the scenes, what we're doing, what we're listening to, what, you know, what's next type of stuff. Third tier is all of that in addition to a vlog, a video vlog. And then the last tier is all of that plus a $5 donation because we could not do any more, even though we wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. So those are our updates.
Yeah. So we've changed up our incentives a little bit. Where can they find our Patreon?
At patreon.com/locatora_radio.
If you're interested. And we do post it, you know, on the Instagram here and there and on the Twitter if you follow us at locatora_radio.
Yeah.
So our second question.
What are your favorite foods? And are you a vegetarian or vegan? If not, would you consider it?
And I think we should have Amy start us off, actually.
Okay. So my favorite food would be papa la huancaína.
Yes, me too.
So it's a Peruvian dish, and it's potatoes with cheese, but it sounds like so basic, but it's really not.
So delicious.
And then to answer that, I'm actually vegetarian, but I was vegan for 4 years. And then I went to Mexico to work at the Borderlands, and there was literally just like one restaurant, and there was like no options at all. So I had to be vegetarian.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went to go to London, and that was expensive to be vegan. And then I just stayed vegetarian. Yeah. And I just came from In-N-Out, so.
So there are options.
So there's options.
So there's that. Oh my God, no. I was gonna. Wasn't Peruvian cuisine voted like the top best.
It is number
cuisine.
one of Latin America. Number one, like first like 6
Yeah,
consecutive years. Kat is like nodding her head, like.
Oh, by the way, Kat Laszlo is here.
Yes.
My other Colombian and Peruvian gal.
Okay, also, like, I, like, have such a special place in my heart for Peruanas, Colombianas, because my primas are Peruvian Colombian.
Wow.
I have 2 primas that their dad is Colombian and their mom is Peruvian.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so whenever I, like, meet that mix, I'm like, what?
No,
it's like
it's
when
so
I meet, like,
cute.
Peruvian Mexicans, I'm like, what?
Yeah. That's true.
No, Kat is working on her day off and letting her expertise to help us record and set up. Thank you.
Yes, Kat has been like big sister when it comes to the videography.
Honestly.
She's been teaching us.
Yes. Bang bang. Thanks, girl.
Okay, so Mala, would you ever consider being a vegetarian or a vegan?
You know, honestly, like I have periods of time where I go in and out of like really like not liking meat and just staying away from it. Especially when I was in school, when I was in college, I feel like the dining halls, there was always vegetables very easily accessible.
The salad bar.
The salad bar.
It was delicious.
I lived off of the hearty salad bar,
right.
you know? And so like now, I think especially like if you eat with your family, you eat at home, you know?
It's harder.
It's harder. So
yeah. It's true. But I feel like I am like more vegan than vegetarian. Like if there's a vegan option, I'm going to get it rather than the vegetarian option. Yeah. Because I feel like food is just such a cleansing way to eat. And it's more than just eating healthy. It's like an actual lifestyle, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's like fighting for food justice in one plate. Right. You're doing so much more than eating.
Absolutely. You know? I was a vegetarian for 6 years. And the reason that I stopped was because I went to Peru. I lived in Peru for 6 months. I did a study abroad. And I was like, well, I'm going to go and eat everything. And I really did. So, like, I always, like, flirt with the idea of, like, being 100% vegetarian again. But it's just so hard with my boo. Like, he's such a carnivore. And it's like, oh, my God. Like, last night we were eating ramen. And I was just like, sometimes I'm eating and I'm like, I don't even want to eat this. Like, I don't eat this meat. And I, like, ate all my ramen and I, like, didn't even touch the meat. And I was like, I don't want this. You know? So I go through those, like, oh, this is horrible. Yeah. So, you know, I've said this before, like, if he were to, not that my decision is based on him, but when you talk about, like, dining, like, and you're going out, you know, that's a really big part of it.
No, it's true. And also, like, partners do influence each other, right? So Joanna, she, like, never used to eat meat, but, you know, once in a while, but ever since we started dating, she, like, now calls herself a vegetarian. She's like, it's so weird to say that I'm a vegetarian.
So, Amy, I know that you actually do, like, work around, like, being a vegetarian and you even have, like, a social media account. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So the account is called Veggie Mijas. And at first it started by me and Mariah. It's still run by me and Mariah. And Mariah is my friend from college. And she's my sister as well, like sorority sister. So we were, like, in college and there was no access to food. And there was no time, no nothing, and everyone was just eating shitty food. So we were like, we have to start a page where we can tell people, you know, how to live the college lifestyle. So that's how it started, like, for kids to be in college and eat well, because you know how it is, especially if you dormed, how horrible it is.
Right.
But then after, you know, I left from college and I was at first working at Planned Parenthood at Syracuse. But then I got hired to the one in New York City. So then I came here and we couldn't do it anymore. So I was like, okay, why don't we just start a collective so everyone can join in. So Veggie Mijas is now like a women of color collective, or, you know, non-binary folks collective as well, where people can share their recipes, have potlucks under the name Veggie Mijas. And now we're starting it to see, like, people are in California, people are in New York City, in New Orleans, like everywhere. So we started, like, this database file where we can save everyone's name and numbers under the city they're at. Cool. And people are like, yo, I'm willing to travel to meet Veggie Mijas, like, you know, so it's been really nice. We started our first potluck hosted by Annalisa, and so many people came. I literally was expecting like 5 people, and it was literally like 30 people that came. And awesome. Yeah, and all the food was amazing. And the best part was that there was a lot of vegans, but there was also just people that wanted to know more about how to have a plant-based diet, or not diet, but lifestyle, or just wanted to know what it was about. And everyone brought their own food, and the food was amazing. And just Veggie Mijas in general, I think it's just so important because, you know, folks in the hood don't know how to eat because of the access, what an eggplant was until like sophomore year of college.
Sure.
So it's just an access of us telling the hood like what's good.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Food deserts are very real.
Yeah.
Food deserts are very, very real. I think right now it's time for us to go into our song break.
Yes.
And Amy did bring us a song. So you want to introduce our first song?
Yes. So I picked Quichiz because she's Colombian and I love her so much, and it's After the Storm.
Let's get into it.
And we're back.
I love that video.
Yes.
And I like that song. Thank you for bringing
Thank
that.
you for bringing it.
Thank you.
So we have so much to talk about. Amy, you have a very interesting trajectory. For those that don't know, and I really just discovered this, you were basically a child star.
Yeah, I don't tell anybody, to be honest. So this is a new exclusive.
Tell us about your childhood.
Right. I also want to say that you were, I learned this, that you were the youngest, like, journalist.
Yes.
You were 9 years old at Premios Lo Nuestro.
Yes, I was.
Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, wow.
Yes.
So we're sitting here with a celebrity.
Ay, mira. Mírala, girl. Tell us about
tell
it.
us everything.
Okay. So I began when I was 3 years old, and I started singing, actually, like lip singing, Selena.
Of course.
So, like many of us.
But I actually used to perform like in Flushing Park, which is huge, and a lot of little shows, going into theater, everything like that. And people were knowing me as Mini Selena. And then after that, I was like, okay, I love singing, but I also want to do acting.
Okay.
So I also started acting when I was around 6, and I was actually on Broadway for Annie.
What?
Yeah, so I actually punched her in the face, but like not really, like in the show.
Okay.
So I was the mean girl for Annie. And then when I started acting, I was like, okay, doing both acting and singing. And I was nominated for premieres in Mexico. I went to Puerto Rico and San Diego. I started traveling. And then after traveling, agencies saw me and they were like, okay, we want you to do a song. And actually, I was in Reggaeton Niños, so it's like a kids bop in Spanish, right?
I remember that.
So I was in Reggaeton Niños, and I was a singer, and the song was Hips Don't Lie, but it was Kids Don't Lie, and it was actually like it was actually in the billboards. So yeah,
where's the footage?
It's on YouTube.
Oh my
gosh!
Share it. Is that okay? Can we share it on our Instagram?
Yes, you can.
Okay, we're going to.
What year was this?
I actually don't remember, but I was like 8 or 9.
We'll find it.
We will find it.
Yeah, you'll see it in the music video.
Oh my god!
And then I started reporting. I was like around 7. So the singing was like when I was 9, and then I started reporting when I was 7. And I had my own show in Telemundo, and it was called Bailando con Amy.
It's ridiculous.
I know. So
I read this all the other day in Spanish, and I was like, "Is this for real?
Is this Amy?"
Yeah, I was like, "Is this, I'm secretly a cat." I was so
I'm secretly a lot of things.
Multi-dimensional girl. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I started reporting, and I interviewed Charly Sa, Thalia, Shakira, like all of the big known stars. And I even interviewed Selena's brothers. And this was, yes. Wow. So I actually interviewed him before I did a show. So I came looking like Selena while I was interviewing him. And amongst all the interviewers and reporters, he was like, I don't want to speak to anybody. Like, he was just tight. And I was like, me? And he was like, you, come. So then he actually like brought me in and he started crying.
My heart.
Yeah. And then I interviewed him. And then I interviewed him. So all of that led me into being in like the record Guinness for the youngest reporter.
Wait, in the Guinness?
Guinness, yeah.
Guinness Book of World Records?
Yes.
You are in the, you're in the Guinness
being the
Book?
youngest reporter.
Yes.
Well, you heard it here. You heard it here, exclusive.
It's
Look at the
true.
radio. I'm secretly
Look it up, Google.
It's Guinness World Record holder.
Wow.
Good for you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
While you're out here, are you going to have time to go out to Hollywood and see Selena Star? Or is that something you're interested in?
Yes, I definitely should. No, I love Selena. Like, she means the world to me.
Right.
Like, more than anyone could ever imagine. I even have the tattoo of, like, a rose here.
Oh, my God. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, you have had quite already the beginnings, the first 10 years of your life already.
That was my peak.
Not at all.
What a...
Hi. There's friends. There's so many friends here today.
Right now, because if you do not know, you should know. Joanna is actually having a pop-up right now as we're recording. So basically, everyone who's anyone is showing up right now.
Out here.
Is out here.
At Espacio.
Right. Okay, anyway. So here you are now doing amazing work, right?
Yeah.
Working upon parenthood and also doing, like, your own stuff on the side, right?
Yeah. So, you know, after all of that, I actually quit acting and singing at the age of 14, because I was asked to be at a novela from Mexico, and I was like, Mom, like, I can't move to Mexico. Like, I'm not Mexican, and I don't want to live in Mexico.
Yeah, sure.
So then I was like, I'm just going to go, you know, back to studying, doing my own thing. And then I grew a passion for women's and gender studies. And that's where I started working with mental health issues and domestic violence issues, going and applying for internships and helping women that have been in violent situations. And that was all influenced because of my mom. Like, she came from Colombia, fleeing from a domestic violence issue that she had. So it all, like, was influential. And yeah, here I am working for mental health stuff. And it all started as well with the internship in Mexico. So because of that, I decided to focus on domestic violence and mental health.
And so what was the internship, and what kind of work were you doing?
So I was in La Casa 72 Tenosique, and it was in the middle in between Guatemala and Mexico. And I was there to help them register. It was like an immigration house, so they can come and be safe for like 2 nights or 3. So it was very temporarily.
Got it.
And I helped them get food. And I also helped them with nursing. So they came with ampollas in their feet. So I was like a nurse. And like I would help them. But there was a lot of moments like at night where folks would like scream, and you would have to know how to like not handle, but like know how to respond to these traumas. So it was honestly very life-changing, and it was so beautiful. And being there for 3 months, like I still talk to the people that crossed the border, and even people that made it, I came to visit them in LA. They're here now. Wow. Yeah. So even working from going and then coming here, it was very emotional to see them. And like, I was like, I knew you'd make it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been my work with that.
So
that's amazing.
So, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And I love that. Thank you also for bringing up that piece about your mother. So much of immigration from Latin America, so much of it has to do with gender-based violence, domestic violence, sexual violence specifically. But that tends to get lost in the sauce. It does. Those narratives tend to get kind of secondary when we talk about reasons for immigrating.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, everything gets lost. Even when we talk about traumas, right? Our parents don't even like to admit that they have traumas. Like my mom doesn't like to admit that she has traumas. Or anything like that. I mean, I don't want to say anything more because she was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna listen to this podcast." So
don't spill.
Right. But yeah, just in general and that's what I talk about in my mental health with Latinx communities as well. So recently I did a talk with NYU.
Yes.
I mean, not NYU. I'm gonna do that with Siuni Anianta, and I shared my story about depression and anxiety. So I had depression and anxiety, or have. It's like a wave. It comes and goes since freshman year of college. And a lot of it has to do with academia and how hard that is. But that's what I talked about in my story. And there's so much influential from our parents that we don't even realize because of immigration.
That's real. That's real. I mean, I know when I was in high school and I tried to tell my parents that I was depressed. They were like, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, they didn't know what it was.
And then one time my dad was like, okay, I'm gonna find you a therapist. But then nobody found one, or nobody did it. I wasn't really sure what happened. And there were multiple people telling my parents, like, I think Ariana needs to like talk to a specialist.
Yeah.
Because people could see I was like a mess.
Yeah. And people don't want to realize that people need therapy too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they don't believe in that, or in pills or anything like that. Because when I was taking Xanax or any type of pill for my depression or anxiety, it would be like, don't give in, like you can do it without. And it's like, I need this.
As if it's a giving up type thing instead of an aid. Instead of a help.
Exactly.
The other day my mom like slipped to my brother and his family that I was at therapy. They were like, oh, you know, where is she? And then they were like, my mom was like, oh, she's at therapy. And they were like, therapy for what? And my mom was like, physical therapy. And I was like, Mom, like, oh my God. She was like, well, I don't know if you want them to know. And I was like,
okay,
what's really going on?
Yeah.
Was she just trying to like, because she knew that they were going to respond a certain type of
Right.
way?
I'm not sure. I wanna say that it was that one.
Okay.
But you also never know.
Got
it.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
No, I mean, one of the reasons why I don't want to go to grad school is because I know when I'm in school, I'm so sad and stressed out and manic and unhappy. And
it's true.
I already know. I know that that's what's going to happen. There's no way that that's not going to happen.
It's true.
It's almost like, why am I going to pay to go be sad?
And upset? It's true.
I don't get it. I don't want to do it. It's a scam. I'm not down. Scam. Like that.
So I mean, I think that's central to your work, right? Like your background, and then talking with your parents about your mental health things, and then maybe them not being receptive to it.
Yeah. So I mean, when I was depressed, my parents didn't believe it, just like I said, and they didn't believe in pills. And then it took for me to go to the hospital and be like, I'm gonna commit suicide now. And then they were like, oh, okay, she does have depression, and I'm like, okay, great. But now they got so much better. My dad reads about it now, and he's like, Amy, did you hear that? Blah, blah, blah. So my parents are very, very open. And my dad specifically is very open to anything. When I came out about my queer relationship, I didn't even have to come out because they already knew. But even then, just being so responsive and being like, so sweet about it and sweet about everything. Not always the first time, but always like after they understand.
Yeah, got it.
And that's hard from Latino parents.
It sounds like they've taken it upon themselves to learn more.
Yes, they really have.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
And that leads us
amazing.
That leads us to recently the Sinvergüenza, the Niña Sinvergüenza series. If you want to tell us about that.
Yes. So Niña Sinvergüenzas, me and Yo-Yo and I were talking in bed, and we were like, we should post this something. She was like, yeah, but our relationship is so sacred. I don't want to put this anywhere. And I'm like, yes, but also you're an artist. Like, come on. So we were just like, no, we need to do this. And she was like, okay, but I don't want to do it like a regular poster. Like, we should do something like a gallery. And then she's like, okay, well, if we don't have a museum, we're going to make the streets our museum.
Right.
And that's kind of what she said. So we went and pasted it, and it was called Niña Sinvergüenza because I thought about Sinvergüenza because, we're not ashamed of being queer. And then she said, Niña Sinvergüenza. And like, that's something, you hear moms say a lot. Like, ay, esa niña sinvergüenza, whenever she walks and sees like queer people kissing or anything like that. Or in general, just being rebellious. So I was like, that's a really good name. And we just pasted it. And it was so beautiful to see our love just like so huge, and everyone just looking at it and taking pictures of it right after. It was really beautiful. So we did that in order just to display queer love in general. We don't see that when we're walking in streets. And yeah, it was really beautiful, and I'm really grateful to do that with her.
Was it something that is pasted up in multiple locations?
No, so it's actually just pasted in one location in the Lower East Side.
Cool.
And we decided to do it like that because it's just a one-time thing. Like, it's not, it shouldn't be everywhere. And even people were like, come and do that in LA. And she was just like, no, like, our love is based here kind of thing. So that's why we decided to,
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And there are pictures of the Niña Sinvergüenza on Instagram.
Yes.
And would you be comfortable sharing, like, for New York listeners, like, where they can go see it?
Yeah, they can see it at the Unapologetically Brown series. And you can also see it at mine. So the pictures are basically like 90s based kind of pictures. Like, I was wearing like Tommy, and she was wearing like her hoops, and like it was just the aesthetics of it. And we just decided to do it like also like in an old house kind of, so it can also be framed like that. So yeah, you can find it in her page.
Love it. Go check that out. They're beautiful.
That's dope.
Beautiful images.
so grateful.
Yes. I got a little distracted right now. Sorry, because there's literally so many people walking in.
This is kind of like a fish tank.
Right.
This is all clear, the glass. So when people walk in, they see us.
Yeah.
Some guy was trying to take pictures, and Kat was like, "No, sir,
stop
that." I know.
The fact that he was white too.
Yeah, I'm like,
Bye.
you're the only white guy in here.
Stop it.
And you want to take pictures of us?
No.
Stop it. Oh, okay. Anyway.
So, I think are there any particular issues like in your work at Planned Parenthood, especially with Latinx community, Latinx patients, that you see as really being very prevalent? Like, like maybe gaps in knowledge or things that Latinx patients like maybe are generally tend to ask about that you see our community is lacking in that area.
Yeah. So I'm an adult sexuality educator. So what I do is I teach in 2 programs in Spanish and English, in 2 languages, and 3 programs. So I teach about birth control, STI, anything that has to be with sexually transmitted infections and wellness in general. And we go out to the hood. So we even go to my hood in Queens. We go to the Bronx and Brooklyn. And it's very, very revolutionary. I love my job because, we went to one place, and the women that were learning about birth control, they were like, I didn't even know we had so many options. And they said, I thought sterilization was like the only option, tube ligation. So it becomes sterilization, right? And just seeing their face to knowing that they have this kind of access, or just the basics. Like sometimes at first I saw the wellness workshop and it was all like the steps of what happens in the clinic. And I'm like, I wonder why someone would need all the steps.
Sure.
And it was just simple, like that there's going to be security, but the security safe and confidential and things like that. So when you're talking to Latinx, the community, they're like, oh my God, are they going to check me? Like, what's going to happen to this information?
Right.
So just little things like that also, like the Latinx community isn't aware of when it comes to that. And just like in general, when it comes to slut shaming as well.
I'm sure that's huge.
Yes, it's huge. And just like, why would we need birth control and just things like that.
Right.
Got it. Okay, we're back.
Okay,
No, well, I lost my train of thought.
That men can also buy birth control for their partners.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay, can we talk about this? Can we talk about
We've been
men?
wanting to talk about this for a while, huh, Mala?
So,
we talk about this all
personally.
the time.
Entre nos, we talk about this all the time. But so straight men, cis straight men, never carry condoms.
Right.
They have an aversion to condoms. An aversion.
And if they do, they lie about it.
They don't, not only do they, it's not that they forget. It's not that they forget, right? But like, you have to bring it up. You have to provide it. They won't even ask about it. They won't bring it up. And it's scary.
It's too much. Or what about when they lie and say that they're using it and then they're not? That's
an assault.
Don't do that.
For any listeners,
right?
That is in the news. They've been using this like ridiculous word called stealthing.
Yes.
But if you are under the impression that your male partner is using a condom and then they take it off or they don't use it, that's an assault of a sexual nature.
Right, because the conditions under which you offered your consent have now changed.
Yep.
You did not consent to have sex without a condom.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not safe. It's not healthy. It's fucked up. And never, ever, 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 ever let some dumbass piece of shit try and convince you not to use a condom if you want to use a condom. Like it's just ridiculous. And I have never understood, like for example, if we're getting personal, for us, like for us, our birth control is super invasive.
So invasive.
It's hormonal. It's inside of our bodies.
It's a lot.
I have the Nexplanon implant. To get it removed, it's a minor surgery. And you're telling me it's too much work for you to wear a fucking rubber?
Yeah, it's true. Right. And IUDs, I heard IUDs are painful as hell.
I don't know. When I was on, I had also the implant, and there was this, because it's fairly new, so my body's still adjusting. There was a period where I was on my period for fucking 7 weeks. 7 weeks, girl.
No.
Yes, and I wanted to die, and I was like, okay, I'm almost at the 6-month mark. Like, I can get through this. Like, I can do this.
That's
like,
horrible.
I have to give myself a pep talk. Yes, I mean, there have been plenty of benefits that I've noticed, like a change in my body. So, like, I am happy about that. But still, I don't want to be on my period for 7 weeks.
Yeah,
the adjustment.
It was horrible.
The adjustment period is very rough on us, and that's not nothing.
No,
that's not nothing. That's a big fucking deal to like try and we still got to go to work and live our fucking lives. And tampons are expensive, and pads are expensive, and we get taxed for all that shit. Oh, but you don't want to wear a fucking rubber.
You know, if he doesn't want to wear it and you're on birth control, just go at it and then get a plan B and then make him pay for it.
But I'm talking about
but cash only.
No,
This is Amy speaking. No, not play for
No,
wait, girl.
No.
I'm joking.
No.
Joking.
But here's the thing.
I do know a friend that does that though.
The other thing.
Cat's whatever, can't relate.
We do not endorse this statement.
Can't relate. Can't relate anyway.
But that's the thing. They have an aversion to condoms. They're carriers of disease, like rats, like fucking
They're
rats.
nasty.
You can't trust them.
Oh man.
They don't get tested. I once had a Latino man tell me, "Oh, I don't use condoms." Point blank. I don't use them. What the fuck do you mean you don't use them?
It's not good.
Ever?
It's not good.
Get out of my fucking house. Get out of my house, fuera, with your diseases.
True story.
Stop.
I'm sorry, but
STIs are not nasty.
Right.
Just go get checked.
They're not nasty.
They're not nasty, but I think that when
go
it
get
comes,
tested.
but I think that straight cishet men specifically, like their own negligence towards their own health,
right?
And they have no problem,
of course,
like exposing others.
Yeah, I mean masculinity.
They have no problem.
Masculinity in general, right? Like even when we think about the prostate exam, like they don't even want anything up their anus because then that makes them gay, quote unquote gay. So it's just like any access to healthcare. Because of masculinity, they can't get access to it.
Yes.
I'm just like, love yourself.
Love yourself.
Get tested. You know, if you have
good for you.
partners, it's good. There's no shame in it. Get tested. True. Get your fucking prostate exam. Go to the doctor.
But I feel like that kind of work, like men have to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
Because women are doing everything. No. Like we're not gonna sit here and tell them what to do. Like they're kids.
Question.
Yes.
So that's interesting that men want the materials marketed specifically towards them. Do they want their sex educators to be men?
So they actually want it to be women.
Interesting.
Yeah, but for only specific kind of exams, they want it to be men.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually don't even know what specifics it is, but I do know that they want women. And they don't also want it when their partner is not around because they have multiple partners.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And they don't want them to go to barbershops to get the information because then everybody there is chismoso. And they're going to say like, oh, they're talking to him about STIs and he has an STI.
Oh.
Like elementary school.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, masculinity's toxic. Jesus.
Masculinity is very toxic. So stay safe, everybody. Just
stay safe.
Be safe. Go get tested. Take care of yourself. That's it.
That's the message.
Simple.
Woo!
So I think we're coming towards
the close.
Towards the close of our day of our interview, and the music is coming up back here. So we're definitely
sizzle is starting. So that means we gotta cut it.
We gotta go.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts? Any final messages that you want to share with our locamores?
Yeah, so I also want to say that I do write. I used to write at Bold Latina. So check out my stories as well. I encourage everyone to share their story. I think it's so important. And I'm really grateful that you guys are doing this kind of work because anyone that follows their passion and does anything that require the activism that they're doing, especially femme of color, women of color, always doing shit. Go Cat, right?
Yes.
So
Cat is always working.
Yeah,
always
so any type of activism and just find your passion and do it.
Love that.
Yes, I love those final thoughts.
And do you want to share where people can follow your work and where they can keep up with you?
Mm-hmm. So they can also follow me on Instagram at I'm Secretly a Cat. And also you can read my articles at boldlatina.com.
Woohoo, thank you.
Yes. Alrighty, so before we go to our final song, we have a few announcements. So first, we wanted to announce that we will actually be at an event, hosting an event, and also participating in the event with Councilwoman Nuri Martinez on March 28th, and it's going to be actually at City Hall. So, that's like a big deal, I feel.
Like downtown Los Angeles.
Like City Hall.
Like the City Hall.
Like we are,
Wow, who are y'all?
We are infiltrating, girl.
Hello.
We're infiltrating.
Yes.
Oh my God, I should invite my grandma. Well, my grandma always tells me that when she first immigrated and she came to LA, that City Hall was the tallest building in all of Los Angeles. That's a long ass time ago. Yeah, right? I will tell her.
Oh,
okay.
That's mad cute.
Yes, okay, so that is March 28th. It's a Wednesday. It's in celebration of Women's History Month. We will be the FemCs and also doing some other stuff. So come and check it out. Like I said, it's going to be at City Hall. When we have the flyer, we will share it with y'all.
Right.
And then we have some other stuff in the works that we'll share later.
Secrets. Surprises.
And then at the end of April, we do have an event we can share.
Yeah. So Let's Give is having an event called Tribe Called Culture, April 27th. And we actually had the Let's Give girls, Dandy Mandy and Morenita, on the show
last year.
We'll probably have them back.
Next Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now.
Yes, so look out for that. So we'll be there. And then, is there anything else about Let's Give, detail-wise?
Follow them. They're a grassroots youth-led nonprofit.
Right.
They're dope. Let's.give on Instagram. So give them a follow. They do real-ass, ground-ass work.
Yeah. Like right now, yes, they do ground-ass work.
I love it.
They do. They do. Actually.
Oh my God.
You got
There's
this.
so much going on.
There's a lot going on.
I'm like, wait.
There's a lot of we're very stimulated.
Very stimulated
Very
right
stimulated right now.
They do groundwork. They were recently going to Bakersfield because they take clothing donations and they do activities with children of farm workers.
Right.
And they do so much shit. So
They do everything.
They do everything.
Yes, get it.
All right.
As always, make sure check us out on Apple Podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Leave us a review. We're at 129. Get
Subscribe.
us to 150.
We're on YouTube.
Y'all are
Check
everywhere.
out,
Spotify.
We're on Spotify. We're everywhere. Locatora Radio. Make sure that you're sharing, you're commenting, you're subscribing, you're liking, all that stuff. Show us love.
Show us all the love. All right. So what is our final song?
Okay. It's Quichiz, Tirano.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, girl. We loved having you.
Yes.
Alrighty. Besitos.
Whew. Cute. Yeah, cut.
So hot.